everyone, Kathy Martin here. I just wanted to record a quick video for you on how I teach my students long division. I know that long division is not a standard that is usually covered in Prealgebra, but I got a special request, and I know personally my students really struggle with long division too, so I wanted to record a quick video to show you how I do this in my classroom and give you some resources that you can find right in this forum. Hope you enjoy. Bye. Okay, so let's jump into some examples. So I'm going to be showing you two methods. The first method that I'm going to be showing you is our traditional division method, and then I'm also going to show you the partial quotients method. So we're going to take our first example, which is going to be 285 divided by 5. So our first traditional, the first way that I'm going to show you is our traditional method, which I kind of use this family acronym. So it's going to be D for dad, M for mom, sister, brother. And this is really, divide, multiply, subtract, and then bring down. But an easy way for my students to remember this is daddy, mommy, sister, brother. So in our traditional method, we have 285 divided by 5. Now, if your students are anything like mine, they might not know their division facts, and they might not also know their multiplication facts. So I will usually give them this actual multiplication chart to use. So when I first tell my students, okay, first we're going to divide, how many 5s go into 2? Oh, none, because 5 can't go into 2. So I'll have them put a little X there just to cover it up. Then I'm going to ask them how many 5s go into 28. And if they have no idea, they can refer to their multiplication chart. So they're going to look at the 5s column and then go across until they hit as close to 28 as possible without going over. So it's going to be 25, and the answer is going to be 5. Okay, so how many 5s go into 28? All right, so 5. Now I've completed the division step. Now the next step is multiply. So 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, great. Next, I'm going to do my subtract. 28 minus 25 is 3. And then I bring down my, I bring down my 5, which now my new number is 35. So then I will ask my students, how many 5 go into 35? Well, if they, again, have no idea, they're going to use their multiplication chart. And they got a 5, go across to 35. Oh, look, I found it. How many 35s? 7. So the answer is going to be, again, so now I divided 7. I'm going to jump down to my multiplication step, which is 7 times 5 is 35. And then I subtract, and my remainder is going to be 0, and there's nothing left to bring down. So that's it. My answer is going to be 57. Okay, so that's kind of the traditional method. Another method that I like is partial quotients. So it looks the same, 285 divided by 5. Now, what I'm going to tell my students is, okay, how many 5s go into 285? So this particular multiplication chart doesn't go that high, but I know, okay, well, 5 times 5 will get me 25. So I know, all right, if I add a 0, that's going to be 250. So I have 250. So now I'm going to subtract the 2, and then I'm left with 35. So now, how many 5s go into 35? Okay, 7. So I'm actually going to put the 7 on top of the 50, and then 7 times 5 is 35, and my remainder is 0. So now I'm going to add these. 7 plus 50 is 57. So that's going to be my answer. And look, they both match, so they both work. Okay, let's do another example. This time, my example is going to have a remainder. So in this example, I'm going to have 735. It's going to be divided by 6. So again, in the traditional way, we will start off there. 735 divided by 6. So I'm going to ask my little student, how many 6s go into 7? So they can use their multiplication chart. Okay, 6. Well, 12 is too big. So, okay, so I got 1. All right, so I got a 1 here. Now, 1 times 6 is 6. So then I'm going to subtract, and then I get a 1. And then I have a number to bring down, so I'm going to bring that down. So now my new number is 13. So if my student wants to use their multiplication chart, they will start at the 6 and make their way across. Okay, so it's 12, all right? So how many 12s is that? 2. So 2 is what I'm going to put on top. And now I'm going to multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. Then I'm going to jump to subtract. And then, oh, I have another number to bring down. So now my new number is 15. So now I ask my student, how many 6s go into 15? Well, again, they're going to refer to their multiplication chart if needed. And my answer is going to be, again, 12. And that's 2 times. So that's 2. 2 times 6 is 12. We're going to multiply. And our last step is going to be subtract. And my remainder is 3. Sorry, that's a funky looking 3. So, boom, there's my answer. So you could have 122, remainder 3. Perfect. So now I'm going to show you how to do this using partial quotients. Again, I have 735 divided by 6. So now I'm going to ask my students, how many 6s go in a 735? Well, okay, I know 6 times 100 is 600. Okay, let's try that. 6 times 100. That's easy. So 6 times 100. Now, that's going to get me 135. Now I'm going to ask my student, okay, how many times does 6 go into 135? Okay, well, I know 6 times 2 is 12. That's close to 13. So what if I do 6 times 20? Oh, that gets me 120. Okay, so let's do that. 20. And now I'm going to subtract. And now my answer is 15. Okay, well, how many 6s go into 15? All right, I know it's 2 because 6 times 12 is 2. And there's my remainder 3. So if I add all this up, 2 plus 0 is 2. And then 2 plus 0 is 2. And then 1 plus nothing is 1. And then I have my remainder 3 at the end. The reason why I love partial quotients is because they can get close. But if they don't get as close to 600, you can still just kind of keep on going and keep on tacking on your numbers at the top and having them add. So if they can't think of how many 6s go into 135, they can maybe think of, well, maybe, can I get 60? Can I get 120? So it's kind of nice because your students have more room to play with here. So my students love, it depends on which student I'm actually working with. Some students love the traditional method. Some students like the partial quotient. It's kind of whatever is up to you. I hope this video has been helpful and that you can use some of these strategies in your classroom.